goes when you come out my way. That's why my field stays packed on Fridays. We hunting, fishing, good living, just soaking up every country second we're giving.
It's the Old Boots Podcast with Justin Kelly and Laura Starling, and we're here with Myron Mixon, 5-time barbecue world champ. Hey, Myron.
How you doing, Laura?
It is good to see you. The last time I saw you, we were at the Alabama 50th anniversary concert.
It's been a minute. My wife, which I like them too, but she loves Alabama. She took our daughter Kylie and son Corey to see Alabama when they were little tiny kids back in the day, and used to go do the June Jam. And I knew I had a trip coming when they was up there doing the 50th anniversary. So yeah, I remember seeing you there.
It was a great concert.
Tell you what, he still got the chops, don't he?
He absolutely does. But it was kind of sad, you know, that Jeff Cook wasn't there.
That's right. It was. It's very sad. But like me, as time takes its toll on you.
Time's not taking a toll on you. You look great.
Just as sharp as ever.
And I know you may say time's taking a toll, but you are a busy man because you are doing lots of stuff every single day. Mid-90s
to the mid-teens, I did 45 barbecue contests a year out of 52 weekends. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
But nowadays, because of the contest and winning, it put me into being on TV shows, and the TV shows resulted in me being able to write cookbooks. It resulted in me being able to sell my rubs and sauces, and it put me into teaching the barbecue classes, which is a big part of what I do now, and also making appearances. We do a lot of corporate caterings. We do a lot of appearances for other businesses and stuff that want me to come, like casinos and things. So I still do a lot of barbecue stuff, but it just ain't competing.
Yeah, you're just... I mean, I don't know how you keep that schedule because I know you're doing all kinds of things every single day.
You want me to tell you how I do it?
Yeah, tell me how you do it.
When you got a bunch of kin folks needing money all the time, you go to work.
Motivation.
You go to work. They go to work. My daddy told me, Jack Mixon, told me a long time ago, he said, most kin folks is piss poor property. And I said, Daddy, why you say that? And I always noticed, my mama was a Cross, and her other side of the family was the Reeds. And we always went to Reed family reunions and went to Cross family reunions. Never did go no Mixon family reunions. My daddy didn't. Now, we had an inner circle there of Mixons. His cousins, Johnny Ruth Mixon and Mary Jo Cruz. But the rest of them, I didn't know many of them out of that Luke bear because he said when they come to your house, they got their hand out.
Mm.
Now, remember that.
Sounds like a family reunion I'm starting to get used to. I can remember, I'm not going to tell on my family member that said this, but, you know, a lot of times when you loan somebody some money, you loan them $20, you don't never see him again. And he was like, that was the best $20 I ever spent.
Oh, amen. But I ain't never been able to get by with just $20.
Right. Oh, yeah. They coming at Myron for some big money.
Hey, that's about right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking about your daddy, that's how you came up with the name for your barbecue.
That is a question. I do all these cook schools. I do 10 a year regular classes. I don't do them in July and August anymore. And I have
Too hot.
Too hot. Gnats. We got gnats down there where I live below Macon. Y'all familiar with those?
Oh, yeah.
That's why y'all live up here.
That's
to get
right.
out the gnats. But students always ask me, especially those that travel out from other states, even other countries, where the Jacksonville South come from, and it was named after my dad, Jack Mixon, in his honor. But he had a takeout barbecue business that was called Jack Mixon's Old South Barbecue.
Okay.
But I just took out the Mixon part of it and named it Jacksonville South, JOS for short, and that was my team name, and still use it today.
And was Jack's, was his takeout business, was that in Unadilla or?
I was in Vienna where I was born and
Okay.
raised. Now, I was born and raised in Vienna, Dooley County, and moved to Unadilla in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and been there ever since. But his takeout barbecue business was right there in Vienna. Matter of fact, on what they call now Pig Jig Boulevard.
Oh,
Going
yeah.
to the big Pig Jig
On with the big
barbecue
pig
contest.
jig. Everybody that's rode down I-75 south and looked right, you can't miss the big pig jig.
Matter of fact, that's coming up first weekend of November.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I have been to the Big Pig Jig many times, and it is a fantastic experience. If is around the area during that time, the Big Pig Jig is way too much fun.
If you've never done a barbecue contest and just want to go to one to hang out or something, that's the one I would go to.
So this will be coming out about the time that the Big Pig Jig is going on. So, as a matter of fact, we're going to make sure that this comes out right before it. But are you going to be competing? Can people come down there and root you on?
I'll be there competing, and that contest has been going on since 1982.
Wow.
City started that a long time ago. Stan Gambrell, who was the city manager at the time, and Mr. Hobby Strippin, the mayor. And Stan was the big influence behind it, put that together to kind of bring some notoriety. You got to think 1982.
Oh, yeah.
We think about that. I lived through it. I'm a 62 model. So that wasn't that. I remember the 80s very well. I graduated in 1980. But for somebody to have the foresight then to kind of put itself out there and get something for their community, and the Big Pig Jig, I don't know exactly the title, but they've been in I think it's the top 100 festivals and stuff like that before the country, and 100 plus teams every year.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you a story about the first one. And again, I wasn't cooking in it back then. I was helping my dad with his business and stuff, but some of the locals went out there and got into this, gonna bury the hog. You know, the Carolina, everybody's gonna bury a hog and bury it in the ground.
Put the pig in the ground.
Yeah.
Beer on ice.
Why people do that, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot better ways to cook a piece of meat. Yeah, you can, but it don't matter. But anyway, they got out there and buried the hog, took a backhoe, dug it out, got the coals hot, and put the metal in and put the hog, burlapped and covered back up. Well, came a storm.
Oh, man.
That night. And it got washed out. There's three of them done that. Got out there and couldn't remember where the hog was at. I mean, it come a gully washer.
Wow.
So those hog bones are still out there.
They're still out there in the ground. Hallowed grounds
And
out
I'm
there.
sure there was alcohol involved in all
Right.
that.
Oh,
Alcohol related. So,
I'm
but
sure there was.
there's a lot of good times happen with this Big Pig Jig. And, you know, again, if you've never got to go to a barbecue contest or if you ever want to enter one, that's the one to get in.
So amateurs can do it, pro,
for
anybody,
sure.
backyard barbecuers, they can get in.
Yeah.
This will probably not make you feel very good, but I've actually been a judge at the Big Pig Jig, and I don't know
They
how.
were desperate.
I don't. I know that's what I was going to say. I don't know how qualified I ever was, but they were like, and honestly, I probably wasn't judging the competition because there are some. Is not everybody.
Ancillaries. They got ancillary contests. too.
Right.
Like the Brunswick stew. They got the. I think they do the wings. I don't ever enter any of that stuff. I concentrate on the meats that can win the grand for you. But they got the People's Choice stuff.
Yeah.
Also going on for individuals coming out there they want to judge. But you don't know. They might have had you over there judging the whole hog.
No, I don't think so. I don't remember that, but I do remember eating a lot of barbecue that day when I was there. And you mentioned to us earlier that these barbecue competitions and things like the Big Pig Jig and all, people are always raising money for charity with those events.
Sure. I mean, the majority of the contests that happen in this country, there's some form or fashion. Most of them are related or indirectly benefiting or directly advertising their benefit in a charity of some kind. And I get a lot of calls, emails, and I do some. I can't do as much as I get asked to do, but a lot of them want me to donate a cook school, which is a $895 value where they can go and, you know, donate and or raffle it off to make money for their cause, whatever that is. I've done some for St. Jude's. We cooked over in Birmingham, cooked hogs, raised money and plates and stuff to send money to St. Jude's. St. Jude's is an awesome charity to give to. I'm not knocking anybody else's, but you're talking about youngins, kids, and anytime you can help kids, especially for that cause, cancer. And the cool thing is majority of that money at St. Jude's goes to those kids, those children. And some of these other charities kind of upside down in that, but that's a great one to do. And I've done some USO stuff. I've been to South Korea. I've been to Kuwait. And we've done some stuff right here in the States with the USO. Matter of fact, the Warner Robins Air Force Base, we've done some stuff up there before. Done it out at San Diego at the Naval Air Station, or Naval Base. So we've done several things, and that's a big part of it. As long as I'm cooking, I'm happy. But when you're doing stuff like that where people need it, or you're helping somebody, it makes it even better.
Absolutely. That's a big part
I got
of
a motto that, you know, it's all about getting paid. Everybody's got to pay to make a living, but sometimes you got to look around and see that sometimes things need to be happening and done that necessarily you don't actually get money for, you get something in your heart for.
Right, exactly.
I've always wondered, going back to the Big Pig Jig for just a second. I see all those little huts, houses, all this different kind of things out there. Is that you have to buy that and become part of like the homeowners association or something of the Big Pig Jig and pay some dues every year? How do people go about doing that? Because I've seen them actually for sale on Facebook Market and stuff. So
they moved to where the location is now in 1987.
Okay.
When they moved out to that facility by the interstate, they allowed people that had sites to build permanent sites.
Gotcha.
And that's what they did. Everybody had them. You had a lot of local teams and stuff that really put a lot of money and a lot of time and effort in them. But as times, you're talking about 1987, and as time's gone on, people lost interest, got older, passed away, whatever reason. And the thing is, when you don't use them, you lose them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Pig Jig, Chamber of Commerce, I mean, they can't just let them sit there. And,
Right.
and people started buying them, or they'd resell them to fix them back up and stuff like that. And so you got permanent now. I've never had a permanent site. I got trailers, enclosed trailers and all.
Right.
And I've always used a trailer, and I've always been the spot I'm in where my trailer sit. But there's always been one beside me, and most of them have restrooms and bathrooms in them.
Right.
Well, that's the reason I bought the one next to me. It had a bathroom and all this kind of stuff in it. And it kept me from having to utilize, or all my guys and gals having to utilize the Pig Jig facilities out there. And so I bought it, like a lot of other people. So, but it's been good that people have bought them. They revitalized them, fixed them up. I just put a brand new roof on mine about 4 weeks ago, getting ready for the jig. We're going to restain the outside of it. It's all natural wood and stuff. So you got a lot of people that put a lot of effort into it. But no, you don't have to have a building.
Right.
But if you want to keep up with the Joneses,
You got to have it.
get you a building.
one.
I'm going to have to make sure and come see you at your building when I
Well,
come
come
down
by
there.
and see me first
Oh,
weekend in November.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're definitely going to have to come down and see you at the Big Pig Jig. That really is a fantastic event. I've been down there so many times, so I know that I've seen you down there and probably eaten some of your barbecue when I was down
I know
there.
you see me. I've won it 7 times.
There we go. The winningest man in barbecue. Of course, he wins the Big Pig Jig
Right,
all
the
the time.
winningest man in barbecue.
When they come to your hometown, you got to represent, right?
You'd be surprised, though. I get booed down there sometimes.
Oh, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't bother me, though. I don't like them right back. That don't bother me a bit.
Oh,
Man.
I can't believe somebody would do that. So the cooking the barbecue and being the five-time world champ and talking about traveling, you have been to a bunch of different places around the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we
And-
talked about going to South Korea and Seoul. I was there 10 days when we did that USO deal, and we went to Seoul's so small. I mean, you start looking at it, I mean, I imagine it's no bigger than the state of New Jersey or something. It's small.
Right.
But there's so many bases there. We went and visited 10, and we didn't get them all.
Wow.
I mean, we go and do multiples a day. We were over there for 10 days, but it's a lot of bases.
And you travel doing that to like increase morale amongst our troops and things like that. That
Sure. I mean, I don't but especially they watch the shows and stuff, and all Americans love barbecue.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they got to do it and they did. We went out there, they had some grills and stuff on the base, and they were doing stuff like that. But I mean, anytime I would be homesick, I know I'd be homesick because I told them when I was over, especially those guys and gals that was in Kuwait, and this was like during early 2000s. No, it was maybe like 2010, 11. And they were like taking their M16s, going to the latrine or whatever to shower.
Right.
Because that's how far forward at that time we were, which is about that bad over there now. But of all the people that didn't cut off their phone,
It's me.
It was Justin.
I actually, before the podcast, I asked everybody, hey, guys, y'all all got your phones off on Do Not Disturb? But I'm off.
I just want you to know I cannot work under these conditions.
That's right.
I'm out of here.
He's gone. I lost him.
That's fantastic.
But the thing is, like this year only alone, I've gone, traveled out to Oregon, did some VIP stuff out there for the casino there. Great, man, they got the weather. I went back, I think it was in July. I went in August, 65, got down like high 40s, low 50s at night. That was every day.
Wow.
I mean, this was awesome.
Yeah.
I said, if I could package all this up and bring it back to Unadilla, Georgia,
Right.
that's where I'd be.
That's perfect barbecue weather. You're not sweating
I mean,
your
it's
butt off.
awesome. Everybody associates being hot weather as barbecue weather. Well, to a point it is. Everybody can get outside and be with family during the summer and all, but really and truly, best barbecue weather is in the winter.
Right.
I mean, that's when hog killing time back in the day when people killed hogs and put them in the smokehouse and all. But it's also a time when you could do the actual barbecue and you ain't worried about spoilage, ain't worried about bugs and insects as much. But it's a lot easier to get out there and do good barbecue when you ain't sweating.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That
Full-figured men don't like to sweat.
No.
Well, y'all don't sweat anyway. You told me you glisten.
Well,
There
we
you
do
go.
glisten down there in Unadilla.
Glistening in Unadilla. I remember when I was a young child and we had a big family reunions. We had a lot of kids, grandkids. My mom is the baby of 9 children, so it was a big time. And all of my uncles and some of my male cousins, they'd start the night before and they'd be down there in the woods cooking barbecue and making hash. And
That's a South Carolina thing, hash.
well, it was Athens, Georgia.
Well, you up there, you got the Carolina influence there. You
Yeah.
see some hash up there. It's a little bit sweeter. It's more fine than Brunswick stew is.
Yeah.
And I love it over rice.
And they'd be down in the woods cooking. And I'm not sure if they were just enjoying the cooking.
They were drinking.
Oh, is that what they were
They were
doing?
enjoying the drinking, Laura.
They were hiding from all the children and the women down there drinking.
Okay, that's what was happening.
See, that's where I would have been, down there in the woods with them.
I'd have been right there with Myron.
What we would have been doing is making sure they didn't overindulge.
There we go.
Gotcha. But I think that they cooked like you were talking. I think they cooked, with a pit in
Shoveling
the
coals.
ground.
Yeah, well, shoveling coals and stuff. And I do a class on this called Barbecue Memories. And we started out doing it once a year. Now I do, matter of fact, we added another month. We do them January through April now, and I only take 20 students in that. And it's I got masonry pits or replicas of my dad's pits, the way I learned, where you burn the coals down, shoveling the coals, and we make his Brunswick stew, we make collard greens. We make sausage. I got a smokehouse. It's a good class. And we take a tour. Frank and Steve Morgan there, the Morgan brothers in Vienna, Georgia, outside of Vienna, heading over towards Byronville, Georgia, Montezuma. They got a family farm they've had over 100 years in the same family. And they've been raising hogs and stuff. And we'll take a tour over there on one of the days. And a lot of people ain't ever seen that.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
No, we all take it for granted. But they do, let me tell you what they do. They raise strictly show hogs. They've been doing it for 50 plus years. Strictly show hogs.
Top of the line stuff.
For 4-H, matter of fact, I'm sure they got a show going on out here at the National Fair this weekend or this week. But it's very interesting. And but it's a good class. And we have a big meal on Sunday of all these things we cook. We do the whole hog. We do the full spares. We do turkey. We do chicken has. We do the sausage we talked about, shoulders, hams. I have to shovel them coals, though.
Oh, yeah. And you use really, really good meat. Talking about that local plant right there. I've seen you use Snake River Farms a lot. Do you still?
Yeah.
You're a big believer in Snake.
Oh, yeah, the
Snake
brisket,
River.
that Wagyu brisket, I mean, tell people all the time, not only is it great tasting, but if you're in competitions, you'll have a lot of team. Well, I'm cooking prime or choice. But if they're winning a lot, they're cooking Wagyu. They
Right.
just ain't telling you the truth. I tell people want to compete, you might as well go whether you use Snake River or not, which is the best. If you ain't cooking Wagyu for that category,
Right.
you're going to get beat.
Right.
I ain't going to say a wild hog don't find an acorn,
Right.
but
For the majority of the time.
yes, you got to have the Wagyu brisket to win.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we were talking earlier where we have ranchers there and we sell meat and They messed up and sent us some. We have these ranchers ribeyes. We sell them for $10 a piece, of course. So they're value ribeyes, but they're very good. But then one time Cisco messed up and sent us some Snake River Farms, and I said, "Whoa, we ain't putting them in the freezer over there. We're gonna take them out here to the house." And it was a big deal, man. They got some really good meat.
And tell people listening right now, you can tell the difference too.
Oh, absolutely. There's a huge difference.
I mean, there's a lot of things where people always throw the term, you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't.
Right.
But when it comes to Wagyu compared to regular prime and choice, and I'm saying there's some good prime and choice.
Yes.
But it don't stand against that Wagyu.
That's right. If you start off with a good product, you're more likely going to end up with a good
that's
product.
Right.
There you go. That's good stuff. So going back to we were talking about history and things of that nature. Where going back to your early days, when did you know, or when did you kind of see this kind of take off into something that got you national stardom? Was there a certain point where you like, okay, I think I have made it, or I think I'm about to make it? I see it on the horizon, or did it kind of take you by storm?
My dad would have never let me, even after I was grown. I mean, you got to figure. My dad died in 1996. He was 56 years old. Now, Jack Mixon was tough.
Right.
I mean, he was tough. This kind of guy, he no nonsense. And he put up no crap for me and my brother Tracy when we were coming up. And we were made, he looked at us as free labor. Even, I'm telling you, even when we got in our 20s, I was scared to death. Everybody talks about respect, and I ain't scared. To me, it's no difference in respect than fear.
Right.
If you stop respecting him, then you just damn scared of him.
That's right.
And I was, because you had to do right. But the thing about it, Daddy didn't think about competing as something that wouldn't work. That ain't. But now, he passed away in 96. My mom and dad had their sauce business, Jack Mixon's vinegar barbecue sauce, which my brother still promotes and pushes. And I told Mama, I said, because we had the big jig there, I said, I think we could get out here, which I wanted to do it.
Right.
I was stroking Mama about that. I said, get out there, and if I do good in these contests, we could promote the barbecue sauce. And I got a little trailer made, and my first contest was a Memphis May event, like the pig jig, where you do hog shows and ribs. We went to Augusta, Georgia, the Locking Dam over there on their river.
Right.
Contest. And I took a first hog, took a first rib, and a third shoulder.
Wow.
That's very good.
And I was hooked.
Oh, I bet.
I was hooked. And then I finally figured out niches and things to do that a lot of folks wasn't doing. They've been doing it longer than me. I made a business out of it. When I say made a business, I was serious about it because I wanted to win.
Right.
And I kept winning, and by the grace of God and being lucky. Plus, now, my dad gave me the basic for it. I mean, and I say base, his type of barbecue to me is the best there is anyway. That style of shoveling coals, you only get that flavor from doing that.
Right.
Direct heat shoveling coals, but it's hard. That's
Right.
why you don't see nobody jumping
There's
in.
no imitating it. Like, there's no.
How many barbecue restaurants you seen open up that ain't got a gas rotisserie
Right.
in it?
They
don't want to do all this shoveling coal stuff, even though it's better.
Right.
But the thing is, after I figured out, because of the way I was cooking, I said, this other mess we're doing, I said, this is easy compared to what I had to learn how to do. And I took that, figured out flavor profiles. I started injecting. Nobody was hardly doing that, if any, at the time I was doing that. And I just kept rolling and started winning sometimes 15 contests a year. Well, that was all through from 1996 until 2006 or 7. I was letting it rip.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a call, and it was from someone wanting to talk about doing a barbecue show. And the first barbecue show was called Barbecue All-Stars, and it was on the Versus channel. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember anything about Versus? That's where PBR, bull riding was on.
Right.
Most of your hockey was on that channel.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a series called Barbecue All-Stars. And they reached out to me because I was winning. That's why I was saying a while ago earlier, the winning helped me get to where I'm at now to be able to do these other things.
Oh, yeah.
And then Discovery came along and offered me the barbecue pitmaster's role. And right now I'm talking to some folks about maybe a redo of that.
Oh, good.
So that's coming
I think the
along.
world needs it. I think we need it.
Of all the barbecue shows that's ever been put out there, that's the only one that really ever stuck.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, they run them every week now. There's episodes of Pitmasters running. I ain't gonna call any names, but on Food Network now, you got two that really do any type of barbecue shows. Whenever Pitmasters airs and those brand new shows air,
Right.
the ratings are double for Pitmaster reruns against
Oh, I can believe
the
it.
new ones.
I'm
yeah.
sure.
I mean, everybody who was anybody in barbecue, that Pitmasters, that's
They
what
love
they were.
it. I mean, the thing is, you learn something too because you got to watch the commentary from me and Tuffy, and you also got to watch these teams actually executing, doing little nuances and things that they were doing to the meat and stuff. You learn things, and even watching reruns, you'll learn something you didn't see the first time. But the point is, I've always wondered why it did the numbers. Now, I'm not gonna say it wasn't expensive to make it. It took like 2.5 days to shoot one
Right.
episode. And you had all these shooters and sound folks and producers and everything there, but why nobody ever did it again. But then I got to understand the market and how this worked when I told y'all that they licensed the reruns to Europe, they licensed the reruns to Asia, South America, Australia. Well, they got them all in the can, all those episodes.
Right.
So they are making money off of them. They ain't got to pay nobody else to make no more.
Right.
That's pure profit right there. They just give you your royalty. And
Well, they don't give me royalties.
Oh,
They
okay.
don't.
Oh no, them days went out with Seinfeld. I mean, Seinfeld backed the last Brinks truck up and they dumped it in his yard. Nobody else don't get that kind of money. But I wish we did get royalties off reruns.
So before Pitmasters, like you, Tuffy, Big Mo, were any of you kind of? I guess y'all were regionally famous, but not national stars at that point in time, or did?
True. I mean, the thing is, before TV, you didn't. You know, I ran in the Southeast. That's where the Memphis and May sanctioning body was, based out of Memphis. We went into Georgia. As far north, I went up into New Hampshire doing contests up there, Carolinas, into Kentucky,
Right.
Arkansas, Illinois. We got over into Missouri, Louisiana, of course, Mississippi, Alabama. So I covered a big portion of the country, but I didn't go in the Midwest and stuff like that.
Right.
And another thing was the Memphis and May type cooking had on-site judging as well as what they call the blind judging, where you send in a tray by a number. Judges don't know who it is, but you also had your on-site, which brought notoriety because fans could stand out and watch it.
Right.
Oh,
You know, most of these contests are sanctioned by organizations that you just send in the little box and they walk back in their RV and fans can't see them or talk to them or nothing else.
Right.
But I tell it all the time, I'm lucky and blessed. I came along at the right time. I hit my stride, you know, in the 2000s and teens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the TV shows started coming. So I was at the top of my game when they were coming on.
Right.
And I benefited from that. I'm
And
gonna lie
TV,
to you.
yeah, TV during those times, you didn't have to compete with people streaming.
No,
or any kind
there
of thing.
wasn't nobody doing that.
Everybody wanted to watch TV. They were watching cable TV,
Exactly.
and
Nobody,
Myron was on there
well,
every
like
day.
we're doing today. You didn't have the barbecue podcast. You
Right.
didn't have, you know, the streaming, the YouTube channels and stuff where we're going to do barbecue recipes and things like that.
Right.
I mean, that's where people went to watch barbecue. They wanted, and lo and behold, they didn't realize how many folks was into that.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, you know, you market. Let's talk about business of it. You market. You know, I love competition. I love to do it. But I do 4 or 5 contests now instead of 45.
Right.
Ain't got time.
Right.
As much as I love it. But you market it and your barbecue competition teams, as bad as they might believe the world revolves around them, it don't.
Right.
You got 15,000 comp teams at any given time in this country.
Mm-hmm.
There's tens of millions of backyard enthusiasts.
Yes.
If you want to get into a barbecue business, you want to get to them.
Right.
You want to have something that those guys and gals want. You know,
That
you're
makes
not,
sense.
I'm not saying you don't want to sell or do whatever for comp teams. Most comp teams want you to give them something.
Right.
You know,
I
man,
understand.
Myron, I'll promote your stuff. You give me one of them smokers, or
Right.
I don't need you to promote my stuff. I need you to buy my stuff.
Right. You're there to
But
sell
not
it
being
to 'em.
ugly about that, but I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
those barbecue enthusiasts at home, there's tens of millions of them, and they're cooking every day
Right.
because they want to try stuff and look at new stuff, and God bless them. I'm proud of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, you can tell that you've got a heart for people, and we talk about charity and different types of things like that, but you've got a heart for people obviously because, you know, you don't need it to pay your bills, but you have Myron Mixon's School of Barbecue just because you like to be around people and you like to show people the trade or the tricks of the trade, I guess. I mean,
I love teaching.
teaching. There you go.
I'm gonna tell you something. Whenever you see somebody come to your class and they get it, now you got other people do classes, but the thing is, saying you're teaching a class is one thing, but actually teaching that class is a whole different thing.
Right.
And the only way you know is if they're successful when they leave you. Do they send you pictures, or they get on their Facebook now, social media, posting pictures of great food they did at home, or maybe they are in the contest. They did good at a contest or something. Then you know they're getting it.
Right.
They understand what you're trying to teach them.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people can be good at something, but they can't relate it to the people they're trying to teach.
That's right.
And you said you have people come from all over the world to attend your class.
Oh, sure. We've had them from Italy. We've had them from Israel. We've had them from Australia. South America's big right now, anywhere from Colombia, Dominican Republic, get into Central America. You got in Brazil. And the thing that they're doing a lot down there, these people are wanting to come learn flavor profiles for Americanized barbecue. They want to do the stuff that we do up here.
Right.
You know, of course, every country's got its own ethnic barbecue,
Right.
but they don't want to do that. They want to do what we do.
It's kind of like our enthusiasts here. We're all looking for the Japanese barbecue style or the sauce.
That's
trying to do
right.
it Korean. They're trying to do it the American way.
They want to reverse that.
Right.
You know, back in the day, they always said, you know, all these countries always wanted Levi's and Winston cigarettes. You know, and that was true. They wanted everything American. They didn't want what they got at home.
Right.
And that's what you're running into in barbecue. And the thing about it is, barbecue now is the fastest growing genre of food there is. It's been that way for 10 years or better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still growing. When you hear people talk about opening up a food truck, even around here, 90% of them are opening barbecue.
Barbecue.
That's right.
Or they've at least got barbecue on that menu.
It's on the menu somewhere.
Exactly.
Yep. That's
How
exactly.
many people can you have in one class?
I do 65 in every class. And it's all hands-on. We'll cook over 800 pounds of meat in that class.
And
Is
they
that
can
a
sign up
one-day
at
class?
myronmixon.com.
Go to myronmixon.com. But we do one a month, and starts with a meet and greet dinner on Friday. Class starts 9:30 the next morning, and we break for dinner at 6 p.m. and start back at 8 o'clock on Sunday. And we get through about 1:30.
Wow, that's a fun weekend for
Well, it is. I mean, the thing about it is it's $895, but, you know, you think about the length of time.
Yeah.
I know a lot of classes that charge $500 for half a day.
Yes. I went to one of those right here in Gray.
How'd
at
that
Ace
work out
Hardware.
for you?
I can't do anything that person can do, but it was a pit master, and they did come out there, but it was $395, and it was for 3 hours, and I left, and I kind of maybe
Pissed, wasn't you?
so for $800, and I can come down and spend the weekend and
you
really
can
get
be
into it.
hands-on.
Right.
$895.
Right, exactly, and cook the good stuff.
Well, listen to me though. We cook over 800 pounds of meat to do that class because I got plenty of protein for everybody to handle.
Right.
And what I do, I stand up in my pavilion, very similar to where we're sitting at here, and I demo what I want them to do, discuss, answer all the questions. Then we break to the prep tables where they break off in tables of 6. And then my black shirts, my guys,
Right.
include myself, we walk those to make sure they execute. They inject, they add the rubs, they trim, they do everything they're supposed to do to make this meat good. And at the end of the day on Sunday when we're done, what we don't eat during the class, my guys have got it all bagged up in a little, not well, in Ziplocs, but we also furnish them little totes
Right.
that you can put ice in, keep it chilled or whatever for them to take home. So you get to take everything home that's left over. None of that stays. You get it all.
Wow. So yeah, for everybody listening or watching or anything like that, you know, I know you know his face. He's got one of the most famous faces to me in the country. I was telling that to Laura before he came. He's the most recognizable figure really on the Food Network or the food channels or anything like that. But you know, for a lot of you that didn't know, he lives right here in Central Georgia. He has this cooking school, and for $800, $895, you can come cook like a champion, like the winningest man in barbecue. So make sure y'all go to MyronMixon.com.
MyronMixon.com. And not
sign up for
only
that.
are you a world-class barbecue champ, but you're the mayor of Unadilla.
I am the mayor of Unadilla. They call me the Thriller from Dilla.
The Thrilla from Dilla. I love it.
That works right out.
Do you have any T-shirts that say that?
No, I don't have it. I don't know if my wife would want me to put that out there. I mean, I like that term, Thriller from Dilla, but I've been doing it. I got elected in November 2015, took office in 16, and got elected again. Last election was last November. So I'm in my first year, my third term.
And what made you want to be the mayor of Unadilla?
I really didn't have. Well, I didn't have to do it. I mean, I'm there doing what I do in my compound. I got 12 acres there in Unadilla, and right there on 41, we call it Pine Street, and really don't depend on any of the local folks to make my living for me. Not saying that's a bad thing, but sometimes it's a good thing, because most of my people that buy from me and come to class and stuff are out of state.
Right.
It's just a fact.
Mhm.
And but our little town wasn't in good shape. It wasn't in good shape. It had a lot of problems, especially financial problems. And I was looking around at it. I said, you know what? I'll tell you the whole story. My wife probably wouldn't want me to tell you, but I will.
We want to hear it.
We won't tell her.
Got a
to
swimming pool out there, kind of like what y'all got out here right here. And I was in the swimming pool, and I can't remember what it was that wanted to go get off the back of the golf cart on the carport. But anyway, the pool's got cool decking all around it, which ain't slippery. But my house, the carport floor is polished. It ain't a broom finish, it's polished. Well, I had on Crocs. If you notice, I ain't wore Crocs. I used to wear Crocs all the time. And this is in 2015. And I went up under that one. Now, I might have had an adult beverage.
Maybe.
You think?
I don't remember, though. It's blurry back in the day. But
Probably
anyway,
did then if it's blurry.
but I went under there and I slid down. And I thought I sprained my ankle. I mean, it hurt bad. So I went out there and got back in the water and trying to walk. And I said, man, there's something wrong with this right here. Well, it started swelling up. It swelled up about big as my bicep, right? I mean, it's huge. Well, wife told me that couldn't go that night. And went to the doctor the next morning. With compound fracture, basically, without poking the skin, it busted my ankle. So they wound up having to put a titanium deal, strap, and all that to fix. Well, meantime, while it was healing, I was in a full cast of my leg.
Ugh.
Well, they had me on Percocet for pain because I couldn't take some other stuff. Some other stuff had oxy and stuff. I couldn't take it. And I'm sitting there taking my pain meds like I'm supposed to.
Right.
I said, you know what? My little town needs some help. I might have been having a double crown on the rocks, too. I'm not
Along
sure.
with the Percocet.
Because I always
activator.
remember every king can always use another crown.
There you go.
I said, you know what? I think I'm going to run for mayor. This is in July, August.
Mm-hmm.
Because qualifying's in September.
Right.
So I called my wife up. We ship anything you buy from me online gets shipped right there from our compound. And my wife's in charge of all that. And we got UPS does all our shipping 100%. And we got a shipping number where I can, if I buy something, I can give them that and I ain't got to.
Pay the shipping.
Yeah, it just, well, I do pay it, but it goes to my
your
account.
There you go.
And I texted her and I said, what's our UPS shipping number? She gave it to me. I done went online. I ordered my signs and cards, all this. I was happy.
Oh, yeah.
I went back to watching the Western Channel then. Rawhide and rest of them. But anyway, about an hour I reckon she got to thinking. She said, What you need the shipping number for?
She started thinking about it then.
I said, running for mayor.
There we go.
Ordered all my cards and signs. And that's how that all happened. That's the true story. But anyway, we were standing down there, and, anytime you run against an incumbent, that's pretty tough, regardless of what kind of job he's done, because some people still going to vote for him. And
Right.
some people like the job he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't making people pay their stuff they need to be paying, and utilities and tax and stuff like that. You got X amount of factor there that don't want to. They want to continue on that. But anyway, I was standing down there that night outside the voting precinct, and I told my wife, because I started looking after I qualified. I said, man, just like now, I got a lot of stuff going on. Always have. I said, you know what? The best thing that could happen to me tonight is to get beat.
Is to lose.
I told her that, standing right there. She said, well, it ain't going to happen. And it didn't happen, and now I'm into my third term.
Wow.
But I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I enjoy, I'm a lot like my dad in this, is fixing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's something actual physical, fixing it, or you fixing something
Right.
like a business, or you fixing a city business. And all it is business. And but with that being said, I got a great city council. They've been with me. Most of them have been with me the whole time I've been there, and a great city hall staff.
That's awesome.
I mean, and I'll mention her name on here. Sabrina Senior just got married, Sabrina Holmes, and she's my mayor's assistant, and she handles it on day to day. She's
Right.
awesome. But let me
What it
tell you
take.
what, the people of our little city have benefited, not just from me being there, but from all these people making stuff happen for them. I don't know if they remember 2015 and back, but they got it. They got it good now. We paved more roads before I got there. We hadn't resurfaced any roads in 30 plus years,
Wow.
and we probably resurfaced over 5 miles.
Wow.
And we got big projects coming up here shortly that we'll continue paving.
That is awesome.
resurfacing. Thing about it is, talking about it, and we off on a tangent here a little bit.
That's good.
You can cut any of this out.
We're
you wanna
good.
cut,
No, I'm loving it.
but most citizens are all about tangibles, and it's just human nature.
Right.
I mean, you want to see things happening. We bought a previous PNC bank there, probably 11,000 square feet, and we used some of our splash money, 500,000 of it, to refab it. And got our brand new community center. That's tangible stuff,
Right.
things they
Right.
can see.
Mm-hmm.
We got doing the resurfacing of the roads. That's things they can see. We revitalizing downtown with our streetscape, putting in all new sidewalks with the brick inlay and stuff, new crepe mark. That's things they can see. And those are important, don't get me wrong. And matter of fact, we put in for our new coming splash, starts in January. We're going to put in like a $300,000 splash pad for the kids.
That's awesome.
Don't want to do a pool. Too much liability there with a pool, and you got to have lifeguards, and it's just a lot more
Right.
infrastructure stuff to deal with. But the splash pad, they're going to love.
They're going to love that.
But that's tangible stuff. The stuff to me that's even more important than that is your finances are in order.
Yep.
Your infrastructure under the streets.
That's right.
All the water, sewage projects we've done, spent millions of dollars on, but they've been grants
Yep.
we went after and got. All those things to me matter as much or more because you got to be stable. You got to have a sound foundation before you can jump on those tangible things that everybody likes to see, the brick and mortar stuff. So we're in a good spot. We're in a really good place with our city. And it makes it fun to go do stuff. Matter of fact, I got a council meeting every second, fourth Tuesday of the month. And I look forward to going to them and giving them reports and seeing what all we got going on. It makes you fun to go do your job.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, just you doing the right thing now is costing your city less money in 10 years. We had the same kind of thing 10 years ago. They didn't want to spend $800,000 on a sewage plant here in Jones County. And now it was several millions of dollars to do it now.
Let me go ahead and just tell you.
Yeah. So because we saved a little bit a long time ago.
When I got elected in November 2015, second Tuesday or first Tuesday in November in 2015. I had a call. I was down at City Hall, matter of fact. I was just going down there and wanted to meet with me. Some folks did, and they wanted to do it in January. I said, sure. I said, I'll be mayor then. Well, I didn't think no more about it. Well, I'm down there in January after I took office, down there one morning going to see some stuff. All of a sudden, the USDA and EPD walk in with about 3 people apiece. They wanted to see me and sat me down in there. And very similar to what you're talking about. Well, EPD, for people that don't know, is the Environmental Protection Division, which does regulate sewage.
Mm-hmm.
If you got spillage and stuff like that. And USDA, everybody thinks that's the only one. They just stamp T-bone steaks and stuff. That ain't it. They regulate all the water in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And that's your financing also arm to do projects and stuff that's associated with water. And they basically sat me down and said, we've been trying to get the administrations of Unadilla for 30 plus years to put in a bigger treatment plant for wastewater. And they have always dodged us, kicked it down, and put us off. Well, that day's over, Mayor Mixon. So they're right there because I knew I just got elected.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been watching the election. I didn't know that.
Right.
See, if I was going to win other than Cummings, because they were going to do something worse
Right.
than Cummings had got it because he hadn't done what he was supposed to do.
Right.
And I said, well, what you got? Said, and they told me the story.
Right.
And bottom line, I can tell you what caused all our problem was. We put in, back in the 90s, everybody wanted to get these prisons the state was doing. And Unadilla fought hard to get Dooley County's state prison. They got it. It's like 96. Well, we got a population of 1,500 people walking free. Well, they dumped 1,500 more out there locked up, but still 1,500.
Right.
Using water, sewage.
Right.
So now we got 3,000 people on a sewage system set up for 1,500 in the 90s. So that's when it started.
Right.
But everybody goes after all. I'm on another tangent.
You're fine. You're good.
Everybody goes after these things, which I'll never want in a damn prison in my backyard, no way, because I don't see any upside to that.
That's right.
What's the benefit? So we got a Dooley State prison here. Come build you a nice $500,000 house.
Right.
But one thing is you can't see it. It is way off the beaten path. It's not like there. Right. But what I'm saying is that's not something I'd have went after. And then they said, well, the jobs. Well, yeah, for a period of time, they were jobs out there. Right now in Dooley County, I bet you don't have 3, and not in Unadilla, 3 in Dooley County working in that prison.
Wow.
So what benefit are we getting other than they're tearing up our infrastructure like our roads and stuff with those white buses?
Traveling in and out.
But getting back around to my story, I said, okay, you want us to put in the treatment plant because of this prison.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't ever say that. I did.
Right.
Well, they said, well, because one state and federal entity don't want to talk about the prison system,
right.
you know? But Myron don't care. That gets back to that 100-year rule.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nobody going to care in 100 years what you said today.
Yeah.
As long as you're telling the truth, they don't care. They ain't going to care Monday. Right. But I said, in other words, I got to put in a treatment plant because we got that prison out there with 1,500 extra people.
Right.
Kind of sure. Well, yeah. I said, well, how much is that going to cost? Something, when you said 800, something they could have done for like 1.7 million 25 years previous.
Right.
Just cost the city of Unadilla 3 years ago when we did all this, 4 years, $12.6 million.
Ooh.
Now, they gave us a $3 million grant.
Right. Still, though.
But we still had to finance $9 million through USDA.
Yep.
Because somebody, like you said, your little town didn't spend $800,000.
They kicked the can down the road, and all of a sudden, somebody's going to have to hold the can one day.
The problem you got is, and I understand it, but I don't. A lot of you elected officials, especially in small towns, they don't want to vote for nothing that might affect them. Sitting around that board, they ain't looking for the good of the community. Man, I don't want to raise water rates because I got to pay water rates.
Hey, that's right.
Well, you can't lose money
Exactly.
on utilities, especially gas.
Exactly.
You got to raise them when you got to raise them. But you got a lot of people make decisions based off their pocketbook.
Yep.
and not what's good for the community. So you run into that. And so I'm going to continue to run, get into that. I'll continue to run until one day they want to go back to what they had. That's fine and good. Myron will go up to his little 12-acre compound.
And keep on kicking.
I can pay my taxes. I don't care how high they get. I can pay my utilities. I don't care how high they get. But I can be up there. But once I'm gone, don't come up there and ask Myron.
There you go.
What would you do, Myron? What I would do is throw everybody in there you got out if they messing up.
Right.
So saying all that, you don't take your salary for being the mayor of Unadilla.
I put it back.
You put it back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is.
Because you didn't do it for the money.
No.
You did it. You
Hey,
did it for the community.
$400 a month.
Oh, is that what it is?
$4,800 a year. The city council members make more money than I make because they voted themselves a raise in after I got in there. They make $700 a month. I make $400. Nowhere else in the state of Georgia, I guarantee you, does the mayor make less money than the city council members do.
Right. Well, that's that'll be less competition for you down the road.
Now, when I tell you I don't draw a salary, I buy the flags. You know, there's interstate flags out there.
Oh,
Those are $2,500 a pop. Everyone that hangs out there, except for the last go around, Brandon Motor Company bought one.
Gotcha.
But I have bought every one, and that's about 2 a year on each pole. Because we got 2 more poles, and we haven't had them fixed because they had damage before I got there. So I'm looking at $5 to $10,000 on flags.
Oh yeah.
Then I'll buy Christmas decorations. I love Christmas.
Love Christmas.
I'm gonna buy the Christmas decorations.
I've got to go to Unadilla and check out the Christmas around there and see all this. I've heard about it.
Well, it's awesome. I tell you what you need to do now. You need to come to our hog drop, our New Year's Eve party downtown.
Oh, I bet that's big.
The hog drop is awesome. It's awesome.
We'll have to come check it out then.
Man, we got all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, my son Michael, he heads that up along with Sabrina Holmes and Senior for those of you that remember. But we got motorcycle jumping where they.
Oh yeah.
We got the pig races, the pig swimming. We got a barbecue contest, invitational.
Right.
Car show. We got bands. We got vendors downtown. Bouncy houses for the kids and stuff. It's big.
That
awesome.
sounds like a lot of fun.
It is awesome fun. Let me tell you what, it's wholesome fun.
Yep.
We don't have all that mess you got, and I ain't knocking none of these other big towns around us, but they got trouble every time they have something. We don't put up with it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's safe. Our sheriff, Craig Peavy, he's down there walking the streets and stuff. Out his deputies out, and that's what people want to see. They want to know they're safe while they're having fun.
That's right.
But we spend, we got about a $10,000 fireworks show. That's pretty good for a little old town.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you something now. Y'all know wholesale, 10 grand worth of fireworks.
Yes,
That's a pile.
That'll go a long way.
That's a pile. If we pop them too now, that's fun. But it's a good event. We do a big thing, trunk or treat, coming up the 31st of October.
Okay.
It's downtown. We do hay rides. We do cooking for the kids. It's fun.
Wow. Everything you talk about, your heart for people keeps coming out. I keep seeing it.
I love
everything.
it. And the thing about it is, and I ain't saying my heart's no bigger than nobody else's, but it makes me feel bad looking around sometimes when you blight. I jumped on blight. I know Macon's always been on. I watch Macon all the time. Mayor you got now, who's the mayor?
Lester Miller.
Lester done an awesome job.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they don't put up with it. They tear them down. Well, I do too.
Yep.
I put some up in the splosh now, a special local option sales tax. Goes every 5 years. We had to put up what we're going to do for the starting in January, the new one. And most of that's going to roads because we got to resurface these roads. But part of the splosh I put in on this was for blight. And we're tearing down houses, been doing it, tearing down, burn out houses. I want it gone.
Right.
I want it gone because when you got that kind of stuff sitting around, that brings down the morale of your people.
Oh yeah.
Your citizens. Also, it's not a good look from people coming to your towns.
Yep.
And it's not safe. I mean, you know what all can go on in all these abandoned houses. Not only that, you know, rodents, you know, it's not good. It's mosquitoes, whatever.
Right.
But we've been cleaning them up. Matter of fact, we got 3 working on right now. I mean, tearing to the ground.
That's if you're not doing that though, it'll pile up to be a bigger problem once again down the road if they're kicking it down the road.
Y'all both travel a lot. Y'all been doing it, and especially Laura, you do a lot of traveling and going through these little towns in the backwoods of Georgia. And I'm just speaking about Georgia. You ride through a lot of them, and you know they ain't got the money and the revenue to do anything, but you see that.
That's right.
You see where the houses are burnt and they just fell in on one another, whatever. The old folks passed away, and a lot of us young folks left. But the thing about it is, young folks ain't gonna stay if you got your town looking.
That's right.
Like Fido's rear end. You can't have that. You got to keep the place looking good.
You know, you've met all kind of people doing what you do. I mean, being on TV and cooking at these shows and anything. Have you ever been starstruck by someone? I mean, all of us put our pants on like each other, but like, is there somebody that you've met and you were like, oh my God, I'm standing here with so-and-so. I mean, this is actually happening. I've made it, or I'm up here on this platform with this person. Have you ever been starstruck by anybody?
Trying to think if I've been starstruck. It's a lot of people I've been impressed with, but I will tell you starstruck. Let me give you a starstruck story.
Yes, let me have it.
My wife went with me. I've been on what was Kelly and Ryan.
Right.
Yes.
Was ABC.
Yep.
Now it's Kelly and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her husband on there. Now Ryan Seacrest from Marietta, Georgia was on there for a long time. Right. Now he's doing Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, that's right.
That cat right there's made it, buddy.
Oh, yes.
That's a Georgia boy that's made it. But anyway, we were on there. I've done her show. Matter of fact, did it this year, back in July. But she's been great about inviting me there. I've done her show 7 or 8 times.
Right.
And but one of these times I went, maybe a couple, 3 years ago, right before one of the John Wicks was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Oh,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu
Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm impressed. I like John Wick. Anybody can kill a guy sitting there at the bar with a pencil about that long.
There we go.
I love a man like that. He's very creative.
Oh, yeah.
Very creative.
But anyway, my wife went with me, and they had us cooking sliders for the audience.
Right.
So I was back there getting all the stuff, and we were right there where you come out behind the curtain and go out. Well, he was on before we were going to be doing our episode part of it. And my wife was like kneeling down. Oh, we were getting some stuff out. And we had a little crew there that they furnished. It's just me and Faye, my wife, there. And he come by, Mr. Reeves, and he was trying to straighten his boot out, get his cuff over his boot.
Right.
My wife's done said, let me get that for you.
Aw, that's
Done
sweet,
it.
though.
Oh, I think he shook her hand or whatever. And now she's probably more starstruck than I've ever been with anybody. But
right.
That's the kind of people you see him. But
yeah.
he's good. He was a cool cat too now. But my wife, you could have thumped her and she'd have fell over.
That made her day.
That made her day. But I've seen a lot of folks. I mean, I've met a lot of people. Of course, even doing pit masters, Warren Sapp, big football star.
Absolutely.
And he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
We met a guy, of course, Guy Fieri, and he met Bobby Flay. Michael Simon. Michael Simon's a real nice guy.
I've heard
real
that.
down to earth. He does a good show. He's a great cook.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of people that does stuff with not just barbecue, with food and stuff, can't cook a lick. But they're great hosts.
Right.
Adam Richmond. Adam Richmond's a friend of mine. Matter of fact, he went on the USO tour with me when we went to Seoul.
I got you.
He's, but I don't want to say I wouldn't be starstruck. I'd be more starstruck. See Clint Eastwood now.
Right. Okay.
Somebody like that.
There you go.
Because I watch Westerns.
That's right.
If John Wayne was still around, see that kind of guy.
Somebody like that.
Yeah, but, it's, I look at them, matter of fact, these guys, they do their work and do their job, and they're great at what they do. But my wife loved her some John Wick.
That's awesome. It just, when you think of a big charity thing that you have been a part of, whether it was 20 years ago or 2 months ago, what was the biggest thing? Like what sticks out in your mind as one of the biggest charitable events that you've been a part of?
I can tell you the biggest one I still think about.
There we go. That's one we want to hear about.
1996.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's not a national charity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not It was, I had just got, if you remember my other story I told you about, when my dad died, Mom put up the money for us to go get a barbecue trailer to compete with. And it was like $4,700 or whatever. It had a smoker on each end, had a roof, and had a smoker on the side, about 16 foot long. I was proud of that trailer.
Absolutely.
Right there, and I was living in Vienna, hometown. But now Unadilla is my hometown. I'm always competing with Vienna anyway. I always want to do better as far as the cities. I want to outdo them. I told them one time, the county seat's in the city of Vienna. I said, y'all going to keep on letting us make gains on you, we're going to move to county seat.
That's right.
But I'm still I got the Vienna roots. But I got that brand new trailer. And matter of fact, I hadn't even went to do the Augusta Lock and Dam barbecue contest yet. And they always raise money for the Little League. It's before road teams. You didn't have all that stuff like what you got now.
Right.
You had the regular old Little League, and they always cook chicken halves to raise money to buy those kids. And matter of fact, the American Legion sponsored it.
Okay.
They had it at the American Legion field. And we raised money and for the kids to have uniforms, kids that couldn't get gloves, that kind of stuff. But everybody's uniform got bought. With that money they raised for chicken half plates. I was proud of my rig. Well, now you had all these older men, I mean my daddy's age.
Right.
And they come, boy, they said, Myron, boy, they said, you want to bring that new rig out here, set up right there in town on a vacant lot and help us cook these chicken halves. I said, yeah, I want, more than raised back then, I want to show off.
Absolutely.
I want to show
You had a Ferrari on the grill at the house and we're ready.
I said, I want to show you I can cook. And, and I learned from my daddy who ain't well, but I'm going to show you. Well, they had all these different kinds of smokers. Some of them big ones, bigger than what I had or whatever. But they weren't trailers most of them with pull behinds. Some used charcoal. Mine was a stick burner where you just throw the whole sticks on it.
Right.
But they was probably 12 different ones.
Right.
And we was cooking all these halves and all. Let me tell you one I knew that I wasn't out there just because they thought I could cook good. They wanted to see that new rig cook and see how good I was to get me to come.
Right.
Well, we were cooking and turning. And about 2 o'clock, we had all these pits reloaded back up for the second go-around.
Right.
And all these men, I'll never forget it all my days. And I'll call his name, Mr. Jim Braxton, loved him to death. He done passed too. He loved my daddy too. But come on, Mr. Myron said, we all fixing to go do whatever. I'm talking about all of them. We're talking about 10 to 15 guys.
Right.
Said, you mind managing, looking after all these pits?
Oh.
I'm looking around. I said, all right, so you got to understand a lot of these were direct heat, like baskets. So when they got done, you couldn't just damper down and let them sit. You had to get them
Get the
off.
chicken off.
They were going to burn them up.
Right.
They come back probably 3 or 4 hours later. They had all these coolers out there to put them in.
Right.
I done about killed myself. And I did, making sure they all got off.
Right.
That was my first introduction to charity cooking.
There we go.
And it was all to help them, which was a great thing to do.
Right.
To help the Little League, the uniforms and all. But I remember that like it was yesterday.
That's awesome. I knew you'd have a good story. I felt like it would.
They played to something, and everybody played to my vanity a little bit that I wanted to be the best, and
right.
I wanted to show off that new rig.
And they let you do it.
They let me. They hooked me and reeled me right on in.
Yes.
Let me tell you what I did after that.
All right.
I helped them maybe once or twice more, but I finally got where I had a little bit of money. And I said, I tell you what I'll do. I'll buy 100 plates or whatever it is. Y'all just resell them. And I said, I won't come help you no more.
That's my contribution.
There you go.
But I'll never forget that. Mr. Jim Braxton, he played me right. He played me right, but it was all in fun, I guess. But I learned a lesson.
There you go. Absolutely. And you'll remember it forever.
I will remember it. But it was for a good charity.
I want to ask you one thing before we go, and I know we've been talking a long time, but Do you think that anybody can cook really good barbecue in a crock pot? Because I can't build a fire out there in my yard.
Let me tell you something, girl.
I bet if you went to
Here we go.
MyronMixon.com and
You got
signed
a
up for the
recipe
school,
No, I
you
ain't
could.
got it on .com, but I get asked a lot. Like, I'll have, just throw it out there. People, whoever,
Right.
contact, especially around the Labor Day or any barbecue type holiday, 4th of July, and they'll ask me for a recipe, see if it hadn't already gone to do a, and I can't pull it up. It's done gone over into my files. But I did a crock pot recipe for one of those magazines. It might have been, because the thing about it, we take for granted that we got all of this, that we can just step out in our backyards, on our decks, and you can cook.
Right.
Or that a lot of people want to do that. And you got a lot of people live in apartments. I mean, you look in New York, they can't even have no grills, period.
Right.
And the things. But I got a crock pot recipe for a barbecue pork butt. And I'll research it here before we leave here today, and I'll give it to you where you can do it at the house.
LiveWithKellyandMark.com. LiveWithKellyandMark.com. They've got it up there.
You already found it. Justin is.
Oh, it was on there?
It's on there.
He's fast on that phone.
LiveWithKellyandMark.com.
That was back in the day.
Yep, that's it. It's on there. And Food.com has got it up there. Myron Mixon's crockpot pulled pork recipe.
See, there it is. I did that. I think I did that. They had me on there for a Super Bowl episode.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And,
that'd be a good time to make it for Super Bowl.
So you thought I was telling you a story,
There
didn't
we
you?
go.
I was telling you a story. But let me tell you what. Look on the recipe. I think it's got hickory salt involved in it.
Right.
Look at it.
Let's
Look at
see.
it.
Let's see. Hickory. Let's see what we got here. As far as the recipe, Comfy Eats mix recipe. Apple juice, hickory salt, vegetable
All
stock,
right.
barbecue sauce.
Let me tell you about the hickory salt.
Okay.
Tell you
Tell
what-
me, because I am not a good cook.
Well, I sell hickory salt, and what it is kosher salt, big grain. And before I started bottling it, we bottle our own spices now. We got our own plant there in Unadilla, Georgia. I took a sheet pan, cookie sheet, spread out kosher salt, the big grain, spread it out, put it in a smoker, and I picked out the wood. Well, the wood of choice is most of the time is hickory. I mean, you could do peach, you could do apple, whatever, but I'd use hickory, and I cooked it for like 8 hours, and then bring it out, and you let it dry, because it gets moisture in the pit.
Right.
Yeah, what kind of smoke you got. Dry, and then you crumble it back up, and you got hickory salt. It's salt, but it's got the hickory smoke,
Right.
hickory smoke flavor. Well, that's why I got that recipe. You're not having it around fire, but you still want it because you're doing a barbecue. You want it to have some hickory smoke flavor to it. The hickory salt gives you that in your crock pot, and you never had to get close to a flame.
And I can buy the hickory salt at MyronMixon.com.
Amen, girl. Take you on the road.
There we go. Well, that is awesome. We appreciate you coming out here to the farm, I hope, and maybe we're able to go shoot a little skeet if you got a little time. I know that there's refugees coming up from Florida right now. When you guys listen to this, he had to battle the traffic from people retreating Florida to come here. He was in it heavy, so maybe he's got a little time to go shoot a little skeet with us and maybe eat a little lunch. And if not, it's all good, too, because I know I'm coming down to Unadilla here at the Big Pig Jig in a little while, and I'm going to eat me some of that Myron Mixon barbecue.
I was trying to think, am I open that weekend? I hope so.
First weekend in November.
Yes.
Big Pig Jig, you need to go. And again, invite y'all to come down and be with us for our hog drop.
Right.
Y'all need to come do
New
it.
Year's Eve.
That would be
you'd
so
love
much
that.
fun.
You love that. There's a lot
I
going
got a
on.
10-year-old daughter. She would love it.
Let me tell you this. And our trunk or treat's fun, too, because we got it there. It's all about the kids and stuff. We got a hayride. And this is a place where, even though you wouldn't, you could turn your young'uns loose. You ain't got to worry about them.
And
right
don't
down
worry
there.
about
And
them.
there ain't many places like that left in
That's
this
right.
world.
No, there's
Right.
not.
Ain't many places left like that in this world. But always remember, when you come down there, the thriller from Dilla is watching over you.
That's right.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us on the Old Boots podcast. Myron Mixon, 5-time world champion barbecue. Wait a minute. Myron Mixon,
As you got
wait
it.
a minute. 5-time barbecue world champ. Did I
There
get
you
it
go.
right?
And also, double extra sexy.
There you go.
Wow. I didn't have to say that, Myron. Everybody could see that sitting here looking at you.
We appreciate y'all coming out and listening to the winningest man in barbecue. He is down in Gray, Georgia for the Old Boots podcast. And, man, we've had a good time. And just like last time, we want to remind you, if you can do something good, you should do something good. We love y'all. See ya.
No rules when you come out my way. That's why my field stays packed on Fridays. We hunting, fishing, good living, just soaking up every country second we're giving. Yeah, we a long way away from the high.